know this is a wonderful turnout, try and reach as large an audience as possible.
Dan, you had a question?
In the very back.
Yeah, we'll get him next.
I live in Dallas. I just wanted to know if this gun open carry law is the general law in Texas or this is just San Antonio?
No, it applies, it's a new law that kicks in January 1st statewide.
Statewide?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And there's another person waiting in the back.
We can't see her, we see her hand. Or someone's
Somebody
hand.
there.
You see a wrist.
My question is, in conjunction with that, ma'am, when we call and the dispatcher gets the questions, gets the answers to the questions that they ask, how quick of a response will the police department give us? Because right now, the calls that I have made, the response is no sooner than 30 minutes. Will the response be quicker?
If it's an emergency, you should get an immediate response. If it's not an emergency, you'll get a response when there's a unit that becomes available.
So if we hear, if we call 911 and we answer their questions, the response should be immediate?
No, if you have an emergency situation that you're calling about, you'll get a much quicker response than if it's not deemed an emergency.
Does that mean anything? Calling on the door?
Sir, right here.
Okay. All right, keep hearing this term called swatting. Do you guys have anything in place for people that are adamantly against open carry that would call and be tempted to file a false police report about somebody waving their gun around or something like that? Do you guys have anything in place for something like that? Are there going to be any consequences that they'll have to face?
There's always been a charge for making a false police report, so
Okay.
the same would apply.
All right.
Nico, this gentleman here had a question about the
Yes, sir.
schools. Over here, I'm sorry.
Can you elaborate as to what the law says with open carry on the public schools, elementary, middle schools, and high schools?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of the places that's restricted by statute are all schools. Now, you can carry a weapon in the parking lot, with the way the law is written, up into the door, to the premises, and there's a definition of premises that we're looking at, the way we define it. We gotta make sure that we really read the law. And the problem is, there's not a lot of precedence to this. This is a new law. So we have to use a lot of common sense, and just, and see where we're gonna go with this, and see what's best for our community. So the way we read it is, you can carry it technically up into the door. So let's give a real life example. I have a 7-year-old daughter. Take my daughter to school. Well, I'm law enforcement, so this doesn't apply to me. I can carry a gun into a school, so can law enforcement. But aside, let's say I'm not law enforcement. I'm taking my daughter to school, and she goes inside. Okay, mommy, love you. Bye. She goes in there, and she goes, Papi, I forgot my lunch bag. And I walk into that school, I'm technically violating the law. But if I stay at the door and say, come get your lunch bag, mommy, and then I'm not violating the law.
So as long as you keep your weapon inside your car?
I mean, that's common sense. Sure, man.
You're fine?
But he's asking what he can legally do, so I'm trying to answer specifically the question. Now, what you should do and what you can legally do are two different things. And I teach self-defense, I teach CHO classes. I get it. I mean, I'm pro-gun, but I never advocate. This is me. I'll tell you what the law is, and I'll tell you what my opinion is. This is my opinion. I carry a gun everywhere. I'm carrying a gun now, and nobody can tell. Why would I want to let you know that I'm carrying a gun? Right? So that's just me. I'm just telling you. But I think about safety, and so when we teach self-defense to our students, we tell them, look, you want to be inconspicuous. I mean, if I'm a bad guy and I walk in the room like this, guess who I'm taking out first? The person I see that has weapons, and I'm taking you out. Now, that's just a personal opinion. You can legally open carry now, and I support the law, okay? I have to protect the law. I gave you my opinion, and now I'm giving you the law. So that's why I was asking his specific question as to the law, sir.
Now, also to that, there was a mention of not being able to carry during school-sponsored events.
Right.
On the parking lot. Right, so like anywhere on the grounds of the school. If there's like, let's say a carnival or a fest, there shouldn't be open carry.
Like if the school rents out the AT&T Center or whatever, yeah, it's a sporting event, you cannot take a weapon to sporting events or a school-sponsored event,
Yeah.
even if it's on a.
Well,
what you're asking me?
most of them are like carnivals, because I work at a school,
Yes, sir.
or at the parking lot. So in that case.
The carnival is actually in the parking lot, so that changes the parameters. You can't say, well, I'm in a parking lot, because
Right.
now the parking lot's not functioning as a parking lot.
It's a school.
So it's a cool
And
premise, right?
And so you'll see, so not just carnivals, but I think that you'll see where where there's still gonna be some gray that we need to sort out,
Yeah,
is let's say soccer practice, band practice. That's the gray, like he said, this law is very, very poorly written.
yeah.
That's where, you know, you're gonna have to use your best judgment and make a call for yourself, but it's going to be tough.
Let me mention something real quick. It seems like the schools are being mentioned quite a bit. And I wanna ask you gentlemen here, you know, we have a big initiative on this neighborhood association. The schools have to be reached, you know, we have to reach out to the schools. How available are you guys gonna be to go and speak in front of the schools? I mean, because
I do it now, so.
the parents have to be well informed, because I think that's where the chaos is gonna come. You have children there. But also out of respect for the families, the individuals should just not take it. And they should not take their weapon, regardless if they feel threatened or what, you know, they should just leave it in their car or whatever. But we're gonna be talking to the schools pretty soon. I mean, we're gonna have to go and talk to these media schools around here.
We'll be available.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
because,
available.
yeah,
Also,
I wanna make
it's
sure-
important that we say, guns are off limits inside schools, they're still off limits.
Right.
Like, that hasn't changed,
Yeah, but, you know,
but they need to know.
yeah, okay, great. There's a question back that they've had their hand up for a while.
Community colleges, I heard the laws may change around September.
In August.
Also, the 51%, can we have the vehicle, the gun in the 51%? No.
You cannot, not in 51%. If 51% of your sales is alcohol, you cannot carry a gun in there. Now, in the parking lot, sure.
Okay.
Now, in next August 16, coming up, in a 4-year university, you can conceal carry.